Hey everybody, hope everyone's having a good Saturday night out there in the VC, or I'm not even sure if we were still calling this the VC or not, but whatever it's called. Hope you all are doing well, and hello. So, Paul McCartney's new album has been the topic of discussion here lately, and quite a few people have already made their videos where they talk about their thoughts on the album and show their copies and so forth. Thought I would do the same. But anyway, had ordered the album off Amazon maybe a couple of months ago. Got that in the mail at work yesterday. Wasn't able to give it a listen till I got home because don't have a record player at work. And on the way home from work, I stopped by Target and got I think it's the special edition or the limited edition CD or exclusive, whatever it's called, with the 2 extra songs on it. And so I really didn't get to hear this till about 6 o'clock last night. I listened to it while I was driving home, and I listened while I was driving home, and then I listened again when I got home. I thought about doing a video last night, but it had been a long day and I was tired, and I wanted to give this, I didn't want to do on just one listen. And when I got home, I saw quite a few people, like I said, had already done videos on it, and I wanted to watch their videos, and by the time I finished with that, I just wasn't in the mood, was too tired because it had been a long day. But had to run around this morning, so took this in the car and listened to it a few more times. So I've heard this now 4 or 5 times, I guess. And so before we get into all that, kind of show you the physical product, even though I think everyone's pretty much seen these by now. But got the green band, you'll notice, which comes off. The regular CD, the non-exclusive Target CD, has a red bungee cord or band or whatever that is. So if you want to be a completist, you need to go get a regular one and a Target one. I think these are limited edition, I'm pretty sure. Sort of opens out like an accordion, and you get, which is kind of neat, you get the album artwork, and on the inside you get lyrics and information about who plays what and so forth. It's a top loader CD, so you pull this out, and this was sealed also. I took the sticker that was on the front of the CD on the cellophane and stuck it on the inner sleeve there so I could keep it. It just says 2 extra songs exclusive to Target, and then it has the title of the 2 songs. And there's the CD if you want to see that. I don't know if the regular version of the CD looks any different from the exclusive or not, other than the fact that the exclusive has the 2 extra songs. So anyway, that is the CD, which I'm kind of glad that loads from the top because I can keep this band on there because I don't want to be taking that off and on, because you see there I don't want it to come loose and break there. But anyway, so that's the CD. The album, and there's so many damn versions of this thing that I lost track. There is at least 2 versions of the CD. There is a regular vinyl album. There is this, which, like I said, I got off Amazon, and it is, I've got it in here, I'll see it in a minute, but it's some kind of limited edition, special edition, something. There's also colored vinyl editions from Spotify and Barnes & Nobles and Paul's website, and there is supposed to be someday some kind of super duper deluxe box set, which is listed on Paul's website right now, but there's no details of what it is or the price. But this album, and I think the regular album is probably just a double album, but this one is a trifold, and it's got a download card with it, which is how exciting it is to see a download card, but there you go if you're interested. And you got the vinyl, which this is just regular black vinyl, even though it's a special something edition. Labels are pretty cool, I guess, upside down, but there is, I guess that's album number 2. And is album number 1, and you got the sticker, which I took off took the wrapper off the album, and I took the sticker off and just stuck it on here. Strictly limited deluxe edition, 180 gram, blah blah blah, and download card. And you also, I don't know if this comes with just the plain regular vinyl edition, but you get this, which is lyrics and some more of the kind of cool. So I don't know if that comes with the regular album or not, like I said. So I like the cover, and I think it's a lot of fun. This is these are paintings that Paul did that make up the cover. So there's a lot of neat little details to look through and scan while you're listening to the album. That's a pretty cool deal. A lot of people say this reminds them of Gom Troppo, George's album, which it kind of does. It also sort of reminds me of Little Creatures, the Talking Heads album from 1985. Just kind of the artwork, primitive artwork, and a lot of little details to look at. So it is a cool cover. A lot of people, this is an interesting album because this is the most pre-release hubbub and publicity on a new Paul McCartney album that I can remember since a long time, maybe Flaming Pie, but really not even that. I'm thinking you got to go back to the 70s or Tug of War. Just all the carpool karaoke, the live concert he did last night from Grand Central Station, I think it was, and all the appearances and leaking 3 of the songs out early, and people just been talking about this the way that they really hadn't on the new Paul album in ages. So that's been kind of fun. And it's an album that seems to really divide people from what I've listened to people's first impressions so far. A lot of people really love this. A lot of people don't like it very much at all. And for me, it's just kind of a funny album because on the 5 or so listens so far, I have yet to decide whether this is going to be an album that grows on me and I come to like quite a bit more, or it's just going to be one of those okay, middle of the road Paul albums that, you know, after I'm going to listen to it some more just because it's new. But after that wears off, I don't know if it's going to become an album that I just pull out every once in a blue moon to listen to. And I'm just not sure yet. But I generally fall towards liking the album. There's some songs on here that I definitely like. There's some things on here that at this point I think are just okay. A couple of things I don't really like. And but there's not some songs you hear and you hear them the first few times and you can't really make up your mind, or you think they're not that good, or they're just okay. But then after you get to after you hear them some more, you come to really like them. So I don't know if some of these are like this. There's also songs that you hear the first time and they just grab you by the throat and you fall in love forever. I don't know, Paul McCartney examples would be something like Jet, Backseat of My Car, Another Day, Ballroom Dancing, Old Siam Sir. There's nothing on here really of that caliber that just grabbed me right off the bat, at least not. So there's some of them that may grow on me, but we'll see. What else? Talk about this. Can't really think of anything else, so we'll just get to it on the songs. So the opening track is called Opening Station, and it's just a little snippet of a song. It's only 42 seconds long. It's sort of an introductory bridge thing to take you into the album. And there's later in the album, there's another song called Station 2. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Station 2, which is 47 seconds. So Paul's done this before with Reception, with Back to the Egg. Venus and Mars, and the Venus and Mars reprise on the Venus and Mars album. The opening station, some people have said it kind of reminds them of the orchestra tuning up on Sgt. Pepper. I don't really get that, but it's nice. It's a nice little introduction to take you into the album. Nothing really too exciting or special about it. I love Reception on Back to the Egg. I think that's a great opening to the album. It's exciting. It's just neat. It's kind of cool. This isn't in that caliber. Venus and Mars and Rock Show, which I always kind of think of as one song, even though they're two, sort of like Sgt. Pepper and With a Little Help from My Friends. But I love Venus and Mars, and much as I love Rock Show, I might love Venus and Mars more. It's not in that category either. Opening station is just kind of inconsequential, but nice enough. How to rate it, because it's just a little snippet. It's nothing too exciting about it, but it's pleasant. So I guess it's okay. Then we go into one of the first two singles that Paul released a month or so ago, which kind of disappointed me because the first, after Opening Station, the first two songs are the first two singles he released. Those have been out there for a month or two now. I've heard them quite a bit on the radio and so forth, so I was familiar with them. So I was more eager to get to the parts of the album that I hadn't heard yet. But starts with I Don't Know, which is a slower kind of ballad song. It's a good song. I like it. To me, it's just what I take out of it is just Paul coming to grips with his mortality and the fact that he's getting old and the inevitable, dealing with that, which is kind of depressing, but so is life at times. And so it's a nice little ballad. I like it pretty well, and I pretty much liked it from the get-go. Not a major McCartney song. It's a pretty minor song in his overall canon, but it's a good one. I like it. Next one is the other of the first two singles that were released, Come On To Me, which I like a little bit more than I Don't Know because it's a little more upbeat. And this the dogs at the window and crows. Or no, that's the other one. But Come On To Me is if you come on to me, I'll come on to you. Upbeat song. It's nice. I like it. Again, it's not at this point, it's not anything groundbreaking or earth-shaking or just another minor, pretty good Paul McCartney song. Happy With You is the song that some people have kind of compared to Mother Nature's Sons. Paul with an acoustic guitar, talking about how he doesn't, drink and do drugs anymore, and he's happy just to be, I guess, with his wife and family, and just enjoy life. So it's kind of another, getting older and you don't need the things that you used to need, and kind of focusing on the important things and the things that are make you happy and so forth. It's a nice little basically acoustic number. Pretty good song. I think it's better than the first two songs, and I like that one. The next one is Who Cares, which is a song about people who were bullied. So I love the feedback, the fuzz feedback at the beginning of the song. It's kind of a Jimi Hendrix blast of feedback, and generally like the song. I think it's a good song. Who Cares? It's pretty cool little rocker there. I like that a lot. Confidant is the next song, which is you would think is Paul singing about Nancy or maybe Linda. It's actually him singing about his guitar, or just that reminds me in spirit of something like In My Room by the Beach Boys, that having a place to go to get away, because the world's not always the most welcoming place, and everyone needs that place to go to get away from it all, be that your bedroom or your hobby or your guitar or fixing up cars or whatever it was. Obviously for Paul it was music and the guitar. Pretty nice song. Nothing great, but it's okay. I don't really understand the part about, I understand the part about him singing about the guitar and how that got him through, when he was a kid and later in life. something that he could turn to and depend on playing his guitar and making music. Where he says, I fell out of love with you. I don't really get that. I guess that at some point he lost interest in playing music or playing guitar. I don't know when that happened or what exactly that means. But anyway, Confidant is another pleasant but nice enough song, I guess. People Want Peace is the next song up. Is that right? No. I skipped the inevitable, the third single there. I apologize. So yeah, Paul released those first two singles. I Don't Know and Come On to Me, and then a month or so ago he released this third single called "Fuh You," and everybody just went ape shit. They either hated it or I don't know how many people loved it, but they liked it or they hated it. And it was this whole, is he saying for you or is he saying F you? And I just purposely went out of my way not to listen to it then because I wanted to. I'd heard the first two songs and I wanted to hear the rest of the album fresh and brand new. So I didn't listen. I didn't get caught up in all the "fuh you" controversy. Having finally heard the song, I don't know if he's saying I want it for you or I want to F you. Sounds to me like he's saying I want to F you, but either way, it's a lot of people hated this song. Like I said, some liked it. I can't get too excited about it one way or the other. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever heard, but I don't think it's a very good song either. It's just sort of there. And I've never been a fan of. I don't mind raunchy stuff if it's done well and there's some substance to it. You want to listen to a Richard Pryor comedy bit, you want to watch Animal House, that's great. But never was a fan of these songs, and that's one thing that's one of the many detriments to modern day pop music and rock music is that so much of it, because it's made by these no talents, that they rely on these sort of wink wink little cute turn of phrase or sexual innuendo type lyrics that because they don't have anything else to fall back on. So it's kind of depressing to see Paul sort of sinking to that level because whether he's saying I want something for you or whether he's saying I want to F you, you know what he's insinuating and what he's trying to do there. And it's a prerogative, but it's still just sort of silly. And stuff like that is almost impossible to do well. You can go all the way back to Let's Spend the Night Together by the Rolling Stones, and people are saying, well, if they're spending the night together, I wonder what they're doing, wink, wink, haha. But Let's Spend the Night Together is a great song. That's Rolling Stones' best song, in my opinion, that and Ruby Tuesday. Most of this stuff, these Britney Spears, Katy Perry type songs, all these rap songs that use this sort of stuff, it's sometimes maybe it's funny for a listener to, then it's like been there, done that, it's not funny anymore, moving on. Usually it's not even funny to begin with. It's just, unless you're 8 or unless you're stupid, this stuff's just not cute or funny or witty. And so it's just dumb. And "Fuh You," lyrically dumb, musically, it's kind of has that sound of modern day top 40 a little bit, which I can't stand. Here it's not really good or bad. It's just here, and that's all I want to say about "Fuh You." Not a song I'm going to be going out of my way to play too much anymore. So I already talked about "Confidant." So now we move on to "People Want Peace," which Joe had brought up. He wanted to know if I would like this as much as I like "Peace in the Neighborhood," which is off the Ground album, which is one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs. A great song. I do not think that "People Want Peace" is as good as "Peace in the Neighborhood" by a long shot. It's a little too close to the after Michael Jackson did Thriller and he went completely off the rails and started just crap music. It's all about the children, and I believe the children are the future is a little kind of goofy lyrically like that. It's a little better than that, but it's kind of catchy and it kind of chugs along, and it's not not a terrible song. I don't hate it. I like it a little bit, but it's nothing to write home about. So yeah, the next song is Hand in Hand. Little boring, this song. Not a bad song. This is another one that's not really good or bad. This is that sound, and there's another song on the album like that. That he's ever since late '80s or the '90s, he's had tons of songs like this on album tracks on his records that are just sort of mundane. Nice, and I've used the word pleasant several times, but just okay, but nothing great. Not the kind of song you're ever going to go out of your way to hear. If you're just playing the album through and it comes on, you just sort of sit through it till the next song, which is hopefully better, comes along. Hand in Hand, it's there. It's kind of dull. Uh, Things pick up a little bit with the song Dominoes, which I really like. The interesting thing on this is the first few seconds or so, he may just be me, but it sounds exactly like the song English Rose by The Jam, which is a great song, uh, better than Dominoes, but Dominoes is a good song. Dominoes plugs along, and it is really probably, I do like Who Cares, but Dominoes is probably the best song so far on the album to this point. I love the ending. Love that sort of weird space rock psychedelic weird stuff that he puts in there at the end. I wish he could have carried on with that for 5 minutes, and I would have loved it even more. So that's a great touch, and the rest of the song's really good. So I like Dominoes. So after Dominoes, we go to Back to Brazil, which is sort of a Tropicali, whatever, Paul doing sort of a south of the border music. Um, this is another divisive song that people love or hate. I actually love the song. I think it's really great. I think it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a happy, upbeat song, get you moving around. I know Caitlin Larkin didn't like this at all. She compared it to Copacabana, the Barry Manilow song, which I never was a Barry Manilow fan at all, but I always kind of had a soft spot for Copacabana, even though it's cheesy and goofy as could be. But I remember when that came out, I was like in 8th grade, and I always kind of had a soft spot for that song. I don't think this really sounds like Barry Manilow or Copacabana at all, but I like it. I mean, it's just a happy, upbeat, fun, kind of goofy song, and you know, get out and dance to it, and so forth and so on. And so I'm a fan of Back to Brazil, and it's something a little different from Paul, and I think he succeeds on that one. Then we go to Do It Now, which is, to me, I'd say Hand in Hand and Do It Now ditto, the same. There's just that Paul McCartney sound of those sort of mid-tempo ballads that are sort of dull that he's done a million of in the last 30 years. It's not a bad song. It's not a good song. It's just sort of there, and it's rather dull. Hand in Hand, I think maybe just a little bit better than Do It Now, but neither one of them are prize winners at all. So we get that out of the way, and we go to Caesar Rock, which I think, even though I said Dominoes, I think Caesar Rock trumps it, and I think this is my favorite song on the album. I love the whole thing, especially the beginning. It's one of the fun, upbeat, and catchiest songs on the album. I'm a big fan of Caesar Rock so far, and I really like it. Then we get into Despite Repeated Warnings, which is about global warming and maybe or maybe not about Trump. I'm not going to get into the whole, whatever your politics are is what your politics are. Putting all the lyrics aside, and that's another thing, the lyrics on all throughout this album are not great. Uh, there's maybe a few moments, but overall they're pretty just so lyrics, not just for Repeated Warnings, but for every song on here. But musically, Despite Repeated Warnings, I think is really good. I love the tempo changes throughout it, and just a nice piece of music to listen to. Kind of a rocking song that goes from switches tempo from sort of a tempo to rocking song. I really like it. Uh, you can make what you want over the message of the song, which, I mean, I don't have any problem with it, but whatever your take on it is your take. But just from a music standpoint, I really like Despite Repeating Warnings. Station 2 is that other little snippet of a song, just like opening station. Station 2 is about the same, but a little bit better because there's a bit of guitar at the very end of it that's pretty cool. And the song only lasts 47 seconds anyway. Then the album proper ends with this medley, which Paul likes medleys, so he's done that, Abbey Road and on Red Rose Speedway and so forth. But medley of 3 songs: Hunt You Down, Naked, and Sea Link. I like the medley. Hunt You Down is really good. Naked is kind of boring, but okay. And Sea Link is just Paul playing guitar, and it's really cool. It's a good way to end the album. So there it is. Then you have the 2 bonus tracks. The first one is called Get Started, which is okay until the end of it is really good. The first part of the song is just okay. And the other bonus track is called Nothing for Free, which is terrible. It's just sounds like bad 90s music. It's some mix of like Insane in the Brain and Pretty Fly for a White Guy and the Spin Doctors, some just hell of that god awful 90s music sound. Just maybe the worst song on the album, even though what's it, Do It Now and Hand in Hand are really boring, and Fuh You. Those would be the 4 worst. So this is all, like I said, initial impression. I will listen to this some more. Maybe some of these will grab me, grow on me over time, and I'll like some more than others, and some that I like now. Maybe after I've heard them a few more times, I might just think, well, they're not all that great after all. I think I like the album. I'm saying because I'm still making up my mind. But once all the hubbub has settled down and the excitement of a new Paul McCartney album has subsided, I think this is probably going to be sort of a mid-level Paul album. Certainly, this isn't. New was way better than this. Memory Almost Full, Electric Arguments for some of his recent albums, and this isn't in the class with Back to the Egg or Ram or Venus and Mars or anything like that. Probably it's better than Pipes of Peace and Wings at the Speed of Sound, but I think this is going to probably settle somewhere toward the lower bottom to the middle when everything is said and done. But for now, I'm leaning towards liking it, and I just really don't know at this point if this is something that I'm going to listen to a whole lot after this initial, phase of getting familiar with it, or if it's something that I'm just going to pull out, once or twice a year. But that's basically my thoughts on it now. I wish there would have been all this excitement and hubbub over New, because that's a way better album, and I wish that would have gotten the exposure and interest that this is getting, apparently. I don't really care about the charts because there hasn't been anything on the charts worth listening to since like 1985, 86. I guess it'd be nice if he gets the number 1 that he seems to want so much, but if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He's had plenty of them, and he's, so is this his last album? Time will tell. Hope he's got at least one more in him, but we'll see. So for now, Egypt Station is, I like bits of it, and in the overall, it's okay. Have a good night, everybody.